as Evil Geniuses versus Williams Resolve to take that top spot in Group C.
Yeah, in a position that you really would not have expected Williams Resolve to be in. I mean, there's maybe EG a little bit more, but for Williams Resolve, what a impressive upgrade that they have done very recently. There's a very long break, or at least it felt like it, between the major and getting here. How do you think it felt for teams that weren't going to the major? They were just forced to sit around, watch everyone else go to the first LAN event in a couple of years. That will motivate you real quick. And it seems like both of these teams have taken that to heart.
It's very interesting to think about that, right? With full major, the teams that were at the full major took a massive break over Christmas. They come back from the full major, they want to relax. Then it's Christmas, they want to relax. Then it's New Year's, they want to relax. Whereas these teams relaxed while the full major was going on and started prepping for this season over that Christmas period. So we're going to see a lot more drive from these teams that didn't make the full major early season, I think. And these are two teams that are definitely going to be one of pushing for that winter major. As the first minute here seems to be Evil Geniuses all on the front foot.
Yeah, Evil Geniuses have just done a really good job of ramping up their level of play throughout the day. And maybe that, they do come across to me as a bit of a team that maybe first match of the Swiss, they probably wouldn't look at their best, but by the time they hit maybe round 4, you'd be looking at them playing and going, how on earth did you even lose a single series? Wow. Maybe it's a little bit of that here from them.
Yeah, looking good. And I think this is good signs for both teams. At this early stage of the split, these teams are going to be fighting to get better seeding in future tournaments so they can have an easier run in their group.
This is already a fantastic win for Williams Resolve, in my opinion. Like, if they get first spot here, unreal, but this is so good for them because they are putting themselves in these positions now rather than just being they're looking better.
Yeah, because they made the quarterfinals, right, in the first full regional, I believe. And since then, they've just struggled to break through in the European region. It is tough when there's so many scary teams in that Swiss bracket. But they looked very good in the close qualifier Swiss where they went 3-0 as we see Catalysm bumping the goal line defender, Ivan getting the first goal of the game.
Oh my goodness. I think, there's going to be Sazen, who probably thinks that the ball became 100 times heavy. I'm sorry, lad. That was Catalysm going straight through ya. Williams Resolve hit the brick wall. That brick wall's name was Catalysm. And now Ivan off the challenge. Sazen with like a small amount of revenge. He's not going to get it. He's been wiped off the field. Oh, Ivan happy to take control of this. This is the position that he was so dangerous in the previous series. Drops it down to Catalysm. What a shot!
The floor pinch from Catalysm here, sending it just below the crossbar. Ivan setting that one up, taking it around, puts it down to the ground. They're so hard to read, those point-blank range shots. Prime just can't quite get up to it. And 2-0, Evil Geniuses go ahead.
You've hit a new level of respect when you see one small mistake. And both of us went, oh no, you don't want to do that.
That's huge.
EG are starting to find their way into that bracket of team. Ivan right back over. Oh, what a play. He's got Catalysm. Almost got yet another one. Those corners are deadly from Evil Geniuses. They're so good at not only playing the ball, but setting up the defender in a position that they can get bumped from.
Yeah, so many different options from the corner. You've got the dribble where you send it low, the dribble you send it high. Now we're seeing Evil Geniuses really implement that, let the ball roll, and go for the demo.
What impresses me, though, is that you don't really see them go for the high version. They like to ground the opposing goalkeeper, make sure the ball's played low, make sure they have to stick around because then they become a much easier target rather than having to try and aerial into them. Radosin almost found an outplay of his own. There's little things like that for me that make Evil Geniuses so scary because no matter how good you are, if the ball's not in the air, you can't really showcase how good you are at avoiding the demos because you're kind of just dead on to them.
Exactly. And the way these guys let the ball get hit through them, they carry the ball to a point and then they give up on the ball and start going for that demo. As we see the net opened up from another demo. What a save from Radosin, sending it out to the side, but the pressure is still on as Evil Geniuses keep cleaning up after those clears.
This has been a statement as we see a great save by Catalysm. Didn't even allow the ball to go across the face of net.
He had no boost there, and he still found his route back.
10 boosts, get a flip reset, go on top corner, mate. Okay, I don't believe in boost, all right? We might as well just blur out that part of our UI. It doesn't matter to these guys. Oh, what a shot!
The angle.
This has been one of the highest quality series and first games we've had in quite some time.
And you didn't expect at the beginning of the day that that'll be between Evil Geniuses and Williams Resolve. Radosin finding that back post shot, just keeping it in, and managing to send that on a very acute angle as we see a little bit of hope now for Williams Resolve, trying to make their way in at the end of this game. 35 seconds to find an equalizer. It's going to be tough, though. Evil Geniuses have looked very solid.
Ivan, I'm going to try and kill as much time as possible, realize that he would have been beat if he went for it. Evil Geniuses, as always, just pick their spots and pick that one out. Catalysm gets the brace, reestablishes the 2-goal lead.
Oh, those 2v2 mechanics. These guys on Evil Geniuses are some of the most disliked players to play against in EU ranked for all the pro players because they're so fast, so disruptive, demo heavy, and you can see little moments like that where they've got those 1v1 outplays in the locker. And we see 3-1 the scoreline in this first game. Williams Resolve, not by any stretch of imagination, looking bad here. Just Evil Geniuses at a different level.
Yeah, they were outplayed for all of them. And that's a compliment to Williams Resolve because it's not often that we get to say that. Just a brilliant performance from Evil Geniuses. And they made probably the best looking version of Williams Resolve we've ever had look second rate.
100%. Watching Williams Resolve in the closed qualifier, they have got a very solid game plan, solid rotations, very efficient. They just don't quite have that same outplay potential that Evil Geniuses showed right there. And you can see Ivan coming in, saving those 4 shots, doing a little bit on everywhere on the pitch. Evil Geniuses have got all 3 players firing on all cylinders right now. At this moment, I'd love to bring you in, Orb, and say what's happening elsewhere, but all we're focusing on right now is this series here.
That's right. We don't have anything else to focus on right now as we're trying to see how this is going to shape up. Once again, my prediction falls flat, but this is only game 1. This is only game 1. Where's that copium?
You took one for the team.
Where did I put the copium at? I got to get another hit of that. All right. So, I mean, the question from me really is like, Williams Resolve, what do they got to do to get back in? You know, what is there anything?
Their fingers and hope that Evil Geniuses take their foot off the gas a little bit.
That's the only one.
I'm not entirely convinced. As good as Williams Resolve are looking today, and I don't want to take that away from them, I still don't think their ceiling is higher than Evil Geniuses, and Evil Geniuses are playing above Williams Resolve's ceiling at the moment. So unless that comes down, I don't really see it going another way.
Gregan, you got to have better news for me, right?
I've got to agree with that to an extent, but then Rocket League is one of those games where if you start to challenge teams that are feeling confident, you can knock that momentum out of them. So what Williams Resolve really needs to do here is get that early goal, show a bit of presence in the midfield, taking that ball off of Evil Geniuses, and we might see a little less confidence from them because they are playing incredibly confident right now as we see early pressure being put on by Evil Geniuses straight off the start.
Yeah, and for me, this starts at the boost pads, those back boost pads. For Williams Resolve, they need to gain some sort of control over those because whenever EG are getting forward, they are always stealing them. They're almost making those a priority over getting the ball. And it's very much limiting what Williams Resolve have been capable of achieving as off the backboard.
An overcommit.
Makes very good use of it. And now it's going to be Catalysm. He's getting chased down with Sizen, but look at how long it took. And the reason for that is because Prime had no boost whatsoever.
Yeah, when you're under pressure for a while, that boost management is so key. Catalysm trips on the post, Sazen sending it home, and that's the kind of mistake that can make you feel a little less confident.
Yeah, maybe not the skill ceiling anymore for Catalysm. that was not the moment that you want to have on a day that has been a highlight reel for Evil Geniuses, and very much from the ceiling to crashing back down to earth. EG need to put that one behind them. Catalysm off the mistake. Last time we saw a mistake like this, they scored. Off this mistake, they almost got another.
Yeah, well, that goal did come down to Rizex being straight beaten to the ball by Sazen, which is definitely Williams Resolve's biggest strength. They are fast in the air. They will beat you to the ball.
He's got the double. That had to go in.
The
you can't get a double fake and not find a goal afterwards. I understand, Catalysm. You did really well. You should have just still scored, mate.
Yeah, and then the awkward bounce off the inside the post meant no one was able to follow up from Evil Geniuses. But again, we said that's what's so strong about Evil Geniuses. They are creative. They've got so many different options that they can take on at any given moment. It makes it so hard to defend against. You don't know whether they're going to go fast, whether they're going to go for the bump, whether it's going to be a fake like we just saw. Just keeping Williams Resolve on their toes.
It's a pace that they set where when they suddenly hit the brakes, it really throws you off guard. And Rizex can't get anything past Redosin. Alism to himself over to the corner. Well, we've seen what they can do offensively. Now defensively, they're forced to deal with it. Ivan will be by himself, at least temporarily. And he deals with that one about as solidly as you could possibly expect. Now it's a race, and Redosin will get there in time. Just over half the game left to play. Williams Resolve up by 1.
Moments like this,
Alism, you can't.
Always gotta watch out for him.
Go like that.
That is just beautiful. Ivan putting that in Catalysm's pocket, but he makes it look so much easier than it is. He got around that ball, sent it far post, beat someone in the air. Catalysm, that is unreal.
Wow. That's all I've really got to add on to that one. Catalysm with just another level every single time. Now they need to find one more. But Evil Geniuses, that's part of that skill stealing that I was talking about. That was even above the skill stealing that I expected them to have. A special goal from a special player. Catalysm can't get it past Sizen. Doesn't have enough boost to follow up as much as he wanted to. And there's a war happening over in that back third. Couple of bumps, trying to find each other's boost.
Oh, there he is again.
Doesn't care about the rough play anymore. Instead, he wants to just silky smooth every time.
So deadly. You see Redosin sending it away on the goal line. There was no opportunity prior that he could go up and make an interception because Catalysm kept that ball moving through the air dribble. And that's what's so threatening here is you have to respect it. As soon as you go up early, that's going to be the moment that they punish you. And Williams Resolve really having to question every interaction, every challenge. Is it now? Is now the right time? Or am I leaving my teammates too vulnerable behind me? Evil Geniuses just got so much flair today.
Oh, we were wondering whether or not the trip up on the line might put Catalysm back a step or two. It certainly has not been the case. If anything, it's just fired him up even more. Rizex takes his time. Gives up that back boost to take on 2 challenges.
All 3.
Now back into the midfield. Oh, that's a huge whiff. And Catalysm, happy to see that he got there first. Just a quick moment of realizing your immortality.
Oh, you saw there Rizex in the corner, just understanding there is no threat if he wants to go for 50-50s. Eventually the ball did pop out in favor of Williams Resolve, but that's what I'm loving seeing about Evil Geniuses. They're not scared to go for a challenge that could potentially lead to the ball going towards their own half. They control the challenges and make sure it goes towards a teammate, using the space behind them to the side of them in those challenges. Very smart Rocket League.
Pops back out. First one there is Catalysm, and Sizen found just the one spot that would have worked to make that save. He's kept his team in it. This is a game that Williams Resolve will really, really want. Otherwise, they face a reverse sweep to get themselves that top seed. Ivan, does he have the support? There's Rizex, won't be able to win the race. Instead, Prime doesn't set really much of anything up. And Catalysm decided against it. In fact, this might have been a dangerous touch to take. Catalysm traps the ball against the backboard. Wants to find the ball to the floor, and they have done it. Overtime needed to settle this game too.
You mentioned reverse sweep. The last time these two played in their group, it was the first round, and we actually saw Evil Geniuses go up 2 games and get reverse swept by Williams Resolve. So I'm sure they don't want to have to do that again, but it is something that has happened already just today between these 2 teams. But I think that is also a sign that maybe Evil Geniuses have improved as the day has gone on, because they look fantastic against Semper and they look incredible right here as we go into overtime. This is a big, big game for Williams Resolve, not just for this series, but for this whole tournament. As we said, coming first in your group means huge difference in the route.
Bumped.
Oh, that's just not good enough from Prime.
Just no clutch at the moment. They're doing a great job of setting themselves up for plays. And then when it comes to that one moment where you need the good hit of the ball, there's nothing there. And in this case, there was no player there off the infield pass. I do feel like the control has been with Williams Resolve, but they're just not creating anything for it. Maybe off this. Can't find the boost to get an extra hit. Radosin from the ceiling takes his time. He's got bottom corner. And Radosin, with ice in his veins, has got the game.
That's brilliant from Radosin. Not only does he get the 1v3 outplay, but he allowed his team to get behind, to give him full confidence to take on that play. And he slots it in bottom left corner. We have a series on our hand here. 1-1. Williams Resolve taking game 2.
If there's a will, there's a way. As we believe, we hope of a better future.
Are you one of these when you start winning? I'm not going to judge you, mate. I know I'm exactly the same.
No, listen. You gotta ravel it in a little bit, you know.
All right, I'm going to find out exactly what sort of person you hear, Orb. Because we saw 2 goals here from Williams Resolve.
Yes.
We saw Catalysm tripping up on the goal line, and we saw the outplay at the end.
Yes.
Which one did you like more?
I mean, to be honest, I wanted to ask you guys about Catalysm's goal up top.
Yeah,
that's got to be
beautiful.
I mean, in terms of, I don't know, in terms of breaking any type of, in terms,
We're seeing that tomorrow on top plays. Like, I know Gregan's, he's already got it written down. He's got it ready to go. Like, that was unreal.
I mean, I like, how important is that type of goal to like break any type of momentum? Obviously now it didn't work out in the end, but just to kind of stop any momentum, how important is a goal of that caliber? Like the in-game, how would you explain it? Like the in-game mechanics, right, of one player, the player mechanics versus like the team effort, right? A goal like that's got to mean a great deal.
Well, it almost neutralized the mistake that happened prior from Catalysm. So I don't know if it necessarily gave him that feel good, but almost like okay, I've made up for my mistake feeling. So I think it very much depends on the timing. If you can get it in a really clutch moment, team is over the moon in confidence. But in that situation, it was, sorry guys, I've made up for my mistake.
So Gregan, I'll be able to like ask you about this one a little bit, because you as a coach have obviously been in positions where your opposing team has scored a worldie like that one. I don't think it necessarily would have an effect on your team, I mean, on their team, but as much it would be your team just going, oh, we're dealing with a team that can hit that today. All right, we need to position a little bit differently to just try and cover that a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't know if it was my way of creating copium for the team, but I always used to just say to my team, look, if that's the kind of goals that they need to produce to beat our defense, then that's a good thing, right? As long as we score the goals, which Williams Resolve managed to get 2, and that's what it requires to beat us, then we're in a good spot, right? If we just find 2 or 3 goals a game and they have to score worldies, you know? It's a different way of looking at it.
And still, Williams Resolve ended up taking the win. So yeah, no, 100%. Williams Resolve will be ecstatic with the way today has gone for them. As well as they've been playing today, they'd rather this be the last series that they play. If they end up losing, they'll have another one to get through.
Oh, good bump.
That's an opportunity for them. Low boost for Ivan, but he's quick enough to the ball. Now Rizex. Oh, you don't want to play Rizex in this position. He's such a terrier. Ivan on the goal line. He's almost got wrong-footed. Rizex taking his time yet again. Just back and forth on the pressure. That shot not quite there. A minute and a half gone. Both teams are happy to take this game to the other.
It's really interesting. Both teams are overcommitting frequently, but they're very good at rotating back via the midfield and not relying on the 100 boost in the corner. Picking up a few pads, coming in, doing a low boost touch. But what it does mean is if you get stuck there, you're then in defense on the back foot for a while. And I think that's where either team can really punish, like you said, with bumps. Rizex being the terrier, getting those bumps. So you do have to be careful going back on that low boost. Decision as Prime stepping up finally. I needed to see that from him. Finally getting a goal on the board.
Yeah, that's the sort of shot that you go for when you're confident, because you've already got to be there. You've got no time to wait to see if the play's going to work out and suddenly jump in. So Prime with full confidence in his team. And Williams Resolve looking to book their spot against Team Queso in that upper bracket. Whoever loses this, by the way, will be up against Team Vitality in just a little while in that lower bracket. Despite what we've seen from Vitality, it's still not a position I'd want to be in, because Vitality just always seem to find a way lately.
Well, Vitality were a team that denied Evil Geniuses their chance of going to the major. So So I'm sure they'd like to get their revenge.
I don't think they'd be that petty to throw themselves into the lower bracket. I don't know.
I mean, I'd rather face them later on in the tournament having got a nice easy run through the upper bracket. That's true.
I would respect it an awful lot, but maybe not today. Still might end up being the case, though. Williams Resolve forcing the matter. There's Radostin back to that corner. I think a lot more corner players now from both teams than we typically see from most series. Catalysm, does he want to go for the ball? Does he want to go for the player? Kind of seemed like he committed to both.
Overcommit.
Now Prime for Radostin midfield. He goes for the goalkeeper, and he nails it.
This is just prime 2v2 breakaway moment right here. Prime with the ball, wasting enough time to allow his teammate to rush forward, take out the goal line defender. And as we mentioned, these guys, when they overcommit, have to rush back on low boost. And that leaves you very vulnerable to the demo there. Rizex annihilated, Prime with the goal.
That 2v1 is lethal today. Sizen wants to go low. And Rizex, once again, almost got a hit. Opportunity started to present itself for Williams Resolve. Catalysm just flings himself past the ball. Williams Resolve with so much more confidence than we have ever seen from them. Back out, Ivan, not going to trouble too much, but this has got so much more dangerous. Scurries the ball away. Now Radostin with Prime in support over on that far side. Prime's positioning much more effective right now. As Ivan off the backboard, and Radostin always there, ready and waiting for it. I want to see the fake out infield from Evil Geniuses set up and then just drop the ball to a teammate, because as good as they've been, they are always going back third every single time. And it has meant that Williams Resolve have started to set up for it.
Well, speaking of things we need to see changed, I was worried about Prime in that game too. Even though Williams Resolve won it, Prime made a few big errors and wasn't getting involved in the offense enough. But this game, getting both the goals and looking so deadly around the pitch, he's the player to watch right here as he stepped up, allowing Williams Resolve to look much the better team here. Evil Geniuses, though, like you said, they need to change something up. They need to find a new route to net because this isn't working.
The corners were going really well for them, and they've tried it a few more times in this game. Just not setting up anymore, and Prime, well, he's got himself a hat-trick. Talk about bouncing back from that game too. How on earth has this one gone in our Catalysm? Yeah, okay, aggressive stance. You need to be there anyway. You're 2 goals down. Already too much to complain about for me.
Yeah, just looking a little bit rushed now, Evil Geniuses. It seems like when they're playing from behind, they try and force the goal a bit too much. And that actually led to the second goal through that overcommit. So a little bit more discipline needed from Evil Geniuses. It's a long game. 5 minutes is a lot of time to find your opportunity. And they need to just respect that and focus on the breakdown, because now Williams Resolve have got 2 on the trot going into game 4 with all the momentum.
Yeah, Williams Resolve looking like they've earned this. That's something that you kind of get worried about when you see a team that you don't necessarily expect. You start looking around just going, all right, what was happening in this group? Who was underperforming? But Williams Resolve, they are performing at a level that earns them this sort of position that they are now on the verge of grabbing a hold of. And Orb, well, it's gone from taking one from the team to you're on the verge of a brilliant prediction.
Shogun, time.
Hi.
Time is the most valuable thing we have. It's the one thing we can't buy or ever buy back. You see, once we spend our time, we can never get it back. Now, I like to spend my time betting on the winning team. Now, Williams is performing so well. I want to say shout out to the 25% of chat. We are the minority in here, but we stand strong. All right. I mean, that looked really convincing for Williams. What has happened with EG? Is there anything you're spotting as like the problem area for them that they can't stop Williams? Gregan, I'm throwing it over to you.
Yeah, they're just trying to force the goal a bit too much. I think they need to focus on breaking down Williams Resolve a bit more. Both these teams, very efficient in their rotation. They maintain boost well. They challenge well. And if you force the goal, you're just going to get counterattacked on, be put on the back foot. And Williams Resolve are really punishing there. Evil Geniuses, calm it down a bit. Focus on challenge game, and then wait for that opportunity to strike.
All right, let's see if that is the one. Shogun, what do you think?
I think I got to refer to what we were speaking about earlier on, which was the worldie that we saw Catalysm score, but that's the only goal now that we have seen from Evil Geniuses in 10 minutes of gameplay.
Can't rely on that.
That's the level that you need to get past Williams. Williams are in a fantastic spot. You know what, Gregan? Now that Orb's gone, we've just seen what he's like when he's winning. He's very smug.
He is.
He?
I'm not
He's
liking
perfect. No, it's great. Name one person on the European team that isn't super smug when they're right. I mean, he's not right for too much longer, given that this one has just got in, but it was good to see from him.
Well, you see a great intercept there from Ivan, and that rotation via the opposite side corner boost to come in and take the shot. Coming from the blind spot there, Rizek's fantastic rotation and good speed all around from Evil Geniuses. And the thought of them scoring and Orb's face becoming less smug made me very happy.
Wait, we got the opportunity to look at it. All right, I'm switching back over so I can see him throughout this matchup.
He's probably sorting out his hair or something, knowing Orb.
Yeah, he's got a wee smirk on his face. He knows he's being talked about.
Yeah, he loves it. Oh, it's great having Orb here, though. In all seriousness, he's been amazing energy for us over here on the day one streams. We'll be seeing him throughout the rest of the split, as we will be seeing some great Rocket League in Europe, as the depth has just been so good for this region for so long. And I think this event has just shown it. Queso and one of Williams Resolve, Evil Geniuses, neither of which teams that made it to the full major are going to be making it into that upper bracket. Luminosity almost beating BDS over in their match. A lot of teams making a name for themselves in this region.
And one thing that we can discuss as well is that since Europe really did not go too heavy on the roster movements, we were talking about this pre-show, how I can describe this as the biggest opportunity for European coaches to show off what they're capable of doing, because it's very difficult to implement your vision and develop a player when that team is changing every 3 months.
Exactly.
Now you've got a team that has kind of settled down. You've had a whole split to see where the mistakes are. I want to see which of the coaches is going to start developing their players the best and start reaching the vision of what their play style is supposed to be.
100%. And we say BDS is that team at the top that really sets the standard for the European region. And what we're going to see...
That's in.
A breakaway goal from Catalysm here is a little bit of an overcommit here from Williams Resolve. A strong 50-50 from Ivan. I mean, take your shot, you know? Great stuff.
Well, Orb's walked away. Quick, I'm giving Orb... I can't recap other games anymore, so I'm giving Orb recaps. And he's gone. So that's how he feels about it. Catalysm. Oh, can he go for the outplay yet again? He went for the attempted block of the clear. Who's there first to this? Sizen. Yeah, Gregan, going back to it. Oh, there's so many teams that I'm looking forward to seeing just the before and after of how they entered this season and how they will exit this split. Is there any sort of teams in particular you're looking forward to seeing? And just want to know what this coach is capable of doing and molding this team.
Yeah, I think really the big question for me is, do these top 9 teams keep developing, or is this going to be a make or break season for them, right? Are they going to get to a stage where going into the spring split, they maintain that same roster and build from there, or will they need to make a change? You know, we've got Endpoint and Dignitas seem to be getting better every single season, and then we've got the rosters like Semper, where we're always like, oh, they're missing something. They're missing that one little thing, and I think today shows signs of that, where it's like they just don't quite have that fear factor that you'd see from Dignitas, Endpoint, and BDS when they're performing at their best.
Yeah, you want to see whether or not that can sort of be taught to the team to give them that little bit extra, or will they start having to look outside of the organization to bring some new ideas in?
Yeah, new coach at Semper as well. Billy coming in as their new coach.
Oh, like the idea. Both of Billy coming in and also almost finding the fake into hook shot. Yes, I've been very interested in how coaches have been moving around. Obviously, Endpoint, maybe one of the most physically visible versions of what coaching can do, as we see them get up and just jump up and down a little bit whenever they get their opportunities. This is going to be very interesting to see, though, as Catalysm and the rest of EG got their 2-goal advantage, looking to send us to Champions Field. Is it going to be a third? That one needed to go maybe not directly down the middle. Sizen happy to see that happen the way he did, but won't be happy to see this as Prime just scuffs the ball away from the net.
Yeah, just to go back to that coaching discussion, Ivan's going to shut me up as he sends...
Yeah, this one's done. We can have all the discussions we want. 3-0. We can get this done, get ourselves hyped up for that Game 5 afterwards.
Yeah, going to be going to Game 5 here. Evil Genius is bouncing back fantastically. But on the coaching discussion, it's not just the coaches of the team, the Rocket League coaches per se, but we're going into an era now of Rocket League where we've got more than gameplay coaching. We've got performance psychology. We've got sleep hygiene. We've got nutrition. We've got... the stretching that we see Endpoint doing, and a lot more physical and out of game decisions from these teams on how to improve performance. And it'll be interesting to see which team gets on board with those philosophies. I know Endpoint are big believers in the stuff their psychologist Callum brings in, and we heard a lot about the Dignitas psychologist. So very much a new era of Rocket League esports now, with more science being implemented into the scene.
Yeah, and as we mentioned earlier on, how consistency can be so difficult to maintain. You need every little bit of help that you can get. 2 each in this series to see who is going to grab a hold of that upper bracket spot. A reminder that will automatically get you past the first 2 rounds of the lower bracket, even if you end up losing that one. If you even win one game, you've already got yourself a top 3. But Orb, we're going into this 5th game. Have you got another rousing speech for us, or was the last one the only one that you had?
Well, Shogun, I'll tell you what, I'm excited for a Game 5. You know, I truly believe that in order to prove your worth sometimes, you gotta go to the limit, right? You gotta see through. You gotta go to that Game 5. We talked about sweeps before. They can be fun, but we don't want the easy route. We rather do it down to the wire. So
you are the definition of copium sometimes. The way you speak, about the team that you predicted here, you're so sure you're going to win without.
You could tell he's been on a team stream or two, can't you?
There's G2. No. I like to consider myself. I don't want to be biased.
But you want to be right. There's a difference.
Yeah,
that
you're
is
allowed
true.
to be right, and we're going to find out very shortly whether or not you will be. Orb, as we do get over to this. Reminder, once again, whoever loses this one, lower bracket, are going to be up against Team Vitality, a Team Vitality
That's right.
we're kind of not overly convinced by today. So, Orb, thank you very much. We'll get to see whether or not you're going to be smug or, despondent in about 5 minutes' time, as we have got ourselves into our Champions Field Game 5. The tiebreaker to decide the tiebreaker. And both these teams have looked so much more than we ever expected them to be coming into today, but only one of them can get that top spot, as Ivan, off the challenge, couldn't set up a teammate. Would have liked that one just to bounce maybe a little bit less lively towards somebody else.
Yeah, we can't separate these teams very easily right now. The first game being a Game 5 reverse sweep win by Williams Resolve, and then being equal in the group as well. And now we're here in Game 5 of the tiebreaker. Good signs for both these teams that for the rest of the split, they can be up there in contention for the top. And as you mentioned earlier on, this is some of the best Rocket League we've seen today. Very solid, very consistent from both teams. But now when the pressure is really on to decide a huge difference in their run in the playoffs, this is the moment where we really need to see that team step up.
The only criticism I can possibly levy, I'm going to get this out of the way before we get into the real deep parts, is Catalysm knew he had to make a play. He was being chased down. Great heads up from him. Prime gets rid of him on the second opportunity, but this time Catalysm did have some support. But the big thing that has been happening throughout the series is whoever scores first has the best chances. And Ivan has got his team that first goal.
Ivan 1v3 onto the sidewall, over another, gets the double tap. The angle on that final touch, unbelievable.
Well, the point I was trying to make is that whoever is trailing has struggled to catch back up. Williams Resolve are trailing, and they're going to have to figure out how to get back into this game. Ivan, out of nowhere, comes up with the play. There's the shot, at least towards Catalysm. But with him and his 4 boosts, we'd have been happy to see where that initially was. The infield pass was intercepted. Ivan, well on the ball. Prime back out. Only as far as Radosin. Quite a bit of help. Ivan back to that corner. You saw earlier on how much more EG were happy to attack when they had somebody over in the corner. This time holding players back, making sure that midfield is secure. Sizen in field. I'd be worried about that after the near interception from Ivan just a moment ago. You might just be handing away a second opportunity to EG.
One of the hardest things to recognize in Rocket League is when your opponent is broken down and you can take those risky touches, because when it goes wrong, it's goal conceding level. When it goes right, you score a goal. You know, it's a massive difference between that broken down team. And right here, I think Williams Resolve are really struggling to break down Evil Geniuses. Especially, we saw them broken down, and even then, Capitalism was able to defend 1v2. So Evil Geniuses really stepping up in this final moment here. Can they keep it up for the duration of the game, though?
Well, EG's worst work has been when they're trying to chase after a game. They don't need to do that here. They can focus on positioning, prime off the infield. And once again, Ivan's got it scouted off the continued play. They've got a demo, maybe an opportunity to set up, and the demo has lasting repercussions as Rodosin levels us at 1 each.
Sazen, that demo is genius. It forces Catalysm to make a decision. Do I wait for the shot or do I try and close down the distance? He picks wrong. Catalysm gets lobbed. No keeper behind him. Scores a level. This is going to be a tight one. Evil Geniuses, though, my big question for them is, are they going to rely on just worldy goals like we saw from Ivan, or do they have a solid game plan that they can rely on that doesn't require massive mechanical skill?
Off the backboard. And yeah, it's a very good question to answer, get an answer for. And for me, I'm not too sure if that's, EG just not having the pace, or whether or not Williams Resolve are just that good defensively, where you need something at that level to get past them.
They cut off everything. Everything you try and go for, Williams Resolve are up, and it just puts so much pressure on you to rush your touches. And the moment you're rushed, that's when your mechanics start to get not as controlled. You double jump rather than holding a dodge because you feel like you got to get there faster. You don't feel comfortable going for a flip reset because you feel like they're there already. And that's what we need to see them trusting when they have that space.
And that's strength that Williams Resolve can go right back into, because they got a goal with plenty of time to spare. They didn't have to go looking for risky plays. That could have gone anywhere, and instead it just bounced up and down. Ivan, risky back pass to Rizex, but Rizex dealt with it very well.
What a block. You see moments like that.
Calism! That was close.
You see there, just a normal off-the-wall touch from Rizex gets intercepted by Prime and is almost a conceding moment. That's where you feel uncomfortable against the speed of Williams Resolve. Just constantly there, constantly putting pressure on.
And finding good approaching angles where, their first play on the ball doesn't take them out of the game. They can keep going afterwards. 30 seconds. One big goal separates either of these teams from that upper bracket spot. Rizex couldn't find a second touch. I would have loved to have seen it. Oh, that's a risky touch as well. Sizen off the backboard. Just settles for stealing some boost.
Good time wasting.
For once, would have been in a good spot for Williams Resolve, but they didn't have anybody around.
Oh, just saw the way Radisson changed up the pace there. Went for the dribble, took one player out of the game. That's the key. You need to be taking players out of the game with these outplays that we see towards the backboard. Going to be taken away by Evil Geniuses. It looks like we're going to be going to overtime.
So we have the tiebreaker to decide the tiebreaker that's deciding the tiebreaker. One goal here is all we need. Who is going to step up and take it? Redosin, he scored off this earlier on. Can he get another one this time? Went for the flip reset last time, let the ball drop down. Now Rizex takes his own chance, but that midfield is secure by Williams Resolve.
Ooh, some sloppy touches. And Williams Resolve take it. 20 seconds into overtime. Sloppy defense from Evil Geniuses will be something they want to sort out going into the playoffs. But it's Williams Resolve who book their spot in the upper bracket. What a series to decide this Group C.
Oh, welcome to the broadcast, mate. That is certainly a top way of finishing off this group stage.
Listen, we don't break, we don't bend, we don't fold. We are the 25%. Oh my God! Shogi, you said it. You said it. The tiebreaker to the tiebreaker to the tiebreaker. I mean, if anything, it makes sense, right? If anything, it makes sense that it came down to this. But I mean, once again, what a power play of a goal there! What a power play of a goal from Ivan. And I mean, Cataclysm had one in game. Was it 2 or 3? Off the top. So, I mean,
that's what it required. That's what it required to beat Williams Resolve, and they just made it so difficult for them.
They were not lacking, I mean, phenomenal goals. I mean, your take on this, Shogun?
Wow.
My take is I'm sad for Evil Geniuses that they've played this well and still weren't able to grab that top seed. But I'm kind of happy for them in a bit of a way because they've now got a chance at revenge. Vitality kicking them out from heading towards the major. And now a chance with Vitality looking at their most vulnerable we've ever seen them, with a chance to now eliminate them in the early goings of this one. So obviously they don't get everything they want, but I'm sure they'll feel very happy if they can take the win in the next round.
I mean, this is really tough for Evil Geniuses. They're going down into the lower bracket now. Their journey's so much longer. So you've got to wonder, is that going to be a massive mental kick for them, knowing that they have to take way more games? They have to play against all of these strong teams in the lower bracket, where one goal would have allowed them to have a nice, comfortable sit in the upper bracket, guaranteed top 6. It's going to be hitting them hard for sure.
Well, whether they're going to be comfortable or not, it is up to debate. It is up to see what's going to happen. Listen, we got more Rocket League lower bracket round 1 coming up right after this. Please stay with us. We will be right back.